Short stories about cats, big and small, real and fictional. Hello. I am Bundy. Today, I suggest that you should listen to stories about cats and arts, which will be told by my friend, a cat sciential.
Greetings, my dear listeners and viewers. I think you know that people have always admired us, cats, and they express their love in various works of what they call art. Today, I shall tell you about cats and their influence on human creativity, and I am going to start my story from afar, from Ireland. This island is called Emerald. It is covered with greenery all year round, due to its mild climate. Christianity came to Ireland in the 5th century AD, thanks in large part to the efforts of St. Patrick. He is highly revered by Christians of all denominations. St. Patrick is sometimes said to have brought riding and driven snakes out of Ireland. These are myths, of course. Still, this does not stop the Irish from having fun, while celebrating all around the world the 17th of March, the day of their favorite saint. Ireland was not affected by the invasions of Germanic tribes and the wars that accompanied the debacle of the Roman Empire. In Irish monasteries, Latin written culture and education were preserved and developed. In those distant times, monks created handwritten books and decorated them with wonderful illustrations. Several illuminated manuscripts, created at that time, have survived to this day. This style of art, with its characteristic intertwined elements, is called insular art or Hiberno-Saxon art. Well, who do we see in the picture from the Lindisfarne Gospels? A cat. And in the 9th century AD, one of the Irish monks wrote the following lines.
I, and Pangerban, my cat, 'tis a light task we are at, hunting mice is his delight, hunting words I sit all night. Better far than praise of men, 'tis to sit with book and pen, Panger bears me no ill will, he too plies his simple skill. 'Tis a merry thing to see, at our tasks how glad are we, when at home we sit and find entertainment to our mind. Oftentimes a mouse will stray, in the hero Panger's way, oftentimes my keen thought set, takes a meaning in its net. 'Gainst the wall he sets his eye, full and fierce and sharp and sly, 'gainst the wall of knowledge, I, all my little wisdom try. When a mouse darts from its den, oh how glad is Panger then, oh what gladness do I prove, when I solve the doubts I love. So in peace our task we ply, Pangerban, my cat, and I, in our arts we find our bliss, I have mine, and he has his. Practice every day has made, Panger perfect in his trade, I get wisdom day and night, turning darkness into light.
It turns out that it was we, cats, who taught people the persistence and concentration that are necessary for creativity. Now let's move on to the Renaissance, to the times when the great Leonardo da Vinci lived, 1452 to 1519. Everyone knows the famous Mona Lisa, but are there cats in Leonardo's paintings? No. And, generally speaking, of the animals on the surviving canvases by Leonardo, one can only see an ermine and a sheep. While in the albums with drawings of the great artist, there are many cats. They have a wash, play, or hunt. In these sketches, Leonardo depicted Madonna, 2 babies, Jesus and John the Baptist, and a cat. And this is one of the studies for the Madonna of the cat. The baby is hugging the cat that is trying its best to escape the suffocating divine embrace. Leonardo is quoted as saying, "Even the smallest feline is a masterpiece of nature." Well, many artists agreed with the great master. Look at this engraving depicting the Holy Family. It features little John the Baptist teasing a cat. A cat is an important semantic detail in painting. Cats were often depicted with children, in order to emphasize tenderness, peace, and family comfort. In portraits of young ladies, cats symbolize the grace and beauty of their owners. If a cat is shown stealing food in a painting, it reflects admiration for cats' dexterity and intelligence. Now let's return to literature. Once upon a time, in Germany, there lived a writer named Ernst Theodor Amadeus Hoffmann, 1776 to 1822. His fairy tale titled The Nutcracker and the Mouse King is well known throughout the world. But today, I would like to tell you about another of his novels, The Life and Opinions of the Tomcat Murr, together with a fragmentary biography of Kapellmeister Johannes Kreisler on random sheets of waste paper. The content of the novel is no less inextricable than its title. Imagine, a publisher is presented with a book written by a certain cat named Murr. Without even looking at it, he sends the manuscript to print. It was only after the book had been printed that the publisher discovered that Murr's story was interspersed with inserts from a completely different book, the biography of the bandmaster Johannes Kreisler. It turns out that the cat Murr set out his worldly views on sheets, torn from the book of his master. When I was reading Murr's notes, I was amazed at his wisdom and talent. I do relate to his thought, is there a more pleasant state than self-contentment? Nowadays, I am busy seeking after other works by this brilliant cat. I would especially like to read his political treatise titled On Mousetraps and Their Effect on the Thinking and Efficiency of Cats. When talking about literature, one cannot help but recall the Cheshire Cat. This cat could melt into thin air, leaving his smile visible. Lewis Carroll did not invent the Cheshire Cat. In English, there is an expression, to grin like a Cheshire Cat. It is said that one of the first Earls of Cheshire had a coat of arms that featured lions, similar to the ones that you see in this picture. However, lions are not found in England. So, the common people thought it was a smiling cat. Meanwhile, the ability to suddenly appear or disappear is inherent in many ghost cats that live in various places on Earth, including in Cheshire. Cat ghosts are also found in Japan. In this drawing, Utagawa Kuniyashi depicted a meeting of such a cat with the actor Ichimura. Utagawa Kuniyashi, 1798 to 1861, one of the greatest Japanese artists and masters of color engravings, was very fond of cats. By the way, this is his self-portrait. When in 1842, the authorities banned the depiction of theatrical scenes, actors, and geishas, Utagawa Kuniyashi created a whole cat series. In 1833-1834, the artist Hiroshige created a series of prints, depicting rest stops along the road from Edo to Kyoto. And in 1850, Utagawa Kuniyashi created a parody of this series, the triptych, called The 53 Stations of the Tokaido, where each of the stations is represented by cats. In the painting by the Austrian artist Karl Kahler, 1855 to 1906, there are fewer cats, 42. Still, this painting, measuring 180 by 260 centimeters and weighing about 103 kilograms, is the largest canvas featuring cats. In conclusion of my short lecture, I would like to tell you about the English artist Lewis William Wayne, 1860 to 1939. When his wife was seriously ill, Wayne trained his black and white cat Peter to do tricks in order to entertain her. The cat wore glasses and sat quietly in front of a book, pretending to read it. From that time on, Wayne began to draw cats that looked like people. He created thousands of drawings of cats listening to opera, playing cards, and even getting into a car accident. The famous science fiction writer Herbert George Wells, 1866 to 1946, wrote, "He invented a cat style, a cat society, a whole cat world. English cats that do not look and live like Lewis Wayne cats are ashamed of themselves." Towards the end of his life, Wayne suffered from mental illness. He was admitted to Bethlehem Royal Hospital, also known as Bedlam. There was a garden and a whole cattery there, and Wayne continued to draw for his own pleasure. Wayne's series of 6 works is often used as an example in psychiatry textbooks to illustrate the change in creative style as a result of mental illness over time. However, it is unknown if these drawings were created in the chronological order in which they are usually shown in textbooks. The fuzzy fractal geometric patterns could simply be Wayne's memories of his mother's work creating rug patterns. We can talk about cats and arts endlessly. However, brevity is the soul of wit. So I shall now conclude my lecture. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, my dear friend, for your interesting and informative story. Lastly, I want to thank my best friend AI designer, Doll E3 platform, that created some of the pictures for this short story. As well as Wikipedia, an inexhaustible source of information about everything in the world, including cats.